Good morning. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, end of June, and I'm heading off to France for another adventure, an overnighter. I'm going to be camping near Malo and then cycling on to Cancale. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's been a long time. I was supposed to go a couple of weeks ago, but the trip was cancelled due to bad weather. So this is going to be good. Lovely day, lots of people out and about. So yeah, just cycling down to the ferry on a heavily loaded touring bike. I forgot what it was like to ride with full panniers, and I've got all camping equipment with me as well, so the bike feels very heavy, but I guess I'll get used to it. So yeah, gonna head down to the ferry now for a lunchtime crossing to Malo.
Almost an hour late getting away from Jersey in the end. There've been apparently some problems with port congestion, as the captain called it, with I think there was 2 other ferries leaving at the same time, and some of the passengers destined for St Malo were late getting on the boats. Not their fault, it was just a case of lots of people trying to get on different boats. So yeah, late getting away, which was, I wasn't too bothered, I wasn't really in any hurry. So but it was a lovely day, it was nice out on deck as we sailed out of St Helier.
We have arrived in France. It's not as nice weather-wise here, but a bit cloudy, but not too bad. So just going to now navigate to the campsite. So I've got the sat nav, so I'm cheating a bit, but it's not far. It's only about a mile. So yeah, it's good to be here. We have arrived at the campsite. It's quite easy to find. As well signposted, and the sat nav helped. So yeah, we're here. So this is where I'm spending the night. There's the bike. It's kind of a, it's like a fort or something over there, and there seems to be some like World War II sort of some kind of bunker type thing there. So I'll have a good look around later on, exploring those. But yeah, it's quite pleasant. So next job, let's get the tent up. So the tent is up. It's really quite easy to put up this tent, it's very quick, which is good. So this is home for the night. So in here, I've just got my sleeping bag, air mat and foil mat just to keep the heat from underneath, but I don't think it's going to be cold tonight, so I don't think that's really going to be a problem. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's all gone well. Just unloading the bike now. I need to take all the bags off and put them in the tent, etc., and then lock the bike to the tree. And then I'm going to go and explore and have a look around. Obviously it's quite a big site, so there's apparently a food truck on site later on doing burgers and so on, and a bar, so I think a beer might be in order. So yeah, here we are. So I am camped there, just through the trees. There's a little area here which is for walkers and cyclists. There's no kind of marked pitches. It's kind of just to stick your tent where there's a bit of spare ground. I'm quite pleased actually, because I spotted that pitch there, which is actually quite flat. Some of the other ones are on a slope, and there's nothing worse when camping and you wake up in the night and you've like slid off your air mat because of the slope of the ground. So yeah, pleased about that. But this is interesting. This is obviously from the war. It's obviously very well fortified here. this. It's obviously some kind of machine gun post, but look at that. It looks like it's been hit by like mortar fire or something. This is obviously, so Malo was really heavily defended and was absolutely attacked by the Americans at the end of the war. The city itself was pretty much flattened, a lot of it, but look at that. Wow, that's amazing. You can see where the shells had hit it. Must have been heavily fought over, because there's this fort here which I presume the Germans would have occupied and fortified. There's like a tour group down there having a look round. So yeah, I'm going to take a closer look. So yeah, it's a pretty big site. There's obviously another of these machine gun posts or something that's, again, been shot to bits. It's obviously attacked, you know, during the time when Malo was liberated. But, yeah, it's there's a lot of German concrete here. So, very nicely done though, it's very interesting. There's no charge to get in either, it's just walk in, which is good. A lot of these places, they charge you to get in, but let's have a wander over here. Well, that's a piece of hardware. Just walked a little bit further around, and there's Dinar over that side. That's where we took a little ferry over earlier in the year and then cycled down to Dinar. So yeah, it's just on the other side of the estuary. Some people out in the back, kayakers and sailing boats and so on. Another of these machine gun posts is absolutely shot up. There's actually a piece of shell still in that. It's sat there since 1944. It's incredible. Look at this, that's just amazing. Imagine how terrifying that would have been if you were in there and that was your job to defend. Look what it does to the metal, the shells hitting that, the noise would have been unbelievable. Shocking. So I've had a wander around the site. It's a pretty decent sized campsite actually. There's a lot of motorhomes and tents, and yeah, it's pretty well equipped. It's pretty clean sanitary blocks and stuff, and the shop's pretty good. It's got quite a lot of stock in there, bread and various bits and pieces, which is quite good. So I'm going to get some breakfast tomorrow morning. So I'm just now relaxing with a bottle of Bosco Pale Ale from Malo, a local brew. So it's really nice actually. €3.50 a bottle though, which is a little bit steep. I was going to buy two, and I thought €7 for a pint, which is what it would come to. Nah. So anyway, yeah, all set up here. I'm kind of at the top of the little sort of hill here. So there's my tent, and the bike's locked to the tree behind me. But there's yeah, quite a few other campers here, bicycle tourers and so on. I suppose most people probably just stay the night and then move on the next day. So yeah, it's got quite a nice view from up here. I'll just spin you around. Yeah, so looking down on the site there, and in the distance you've got the Barrage de la Rance. That's the tidal power station that crosses the Rance estuary. So yeah, it's a pretty it's a nice site. I quite like it. There's a kind of bar area over there. I've got music on at the moment. It's like a pop-up kind of bar thing. I don't think it's a permanent fixture, but they said there'll be a food truck along later, so I'm thinking about a burger or something, but I have got food with me if that isn't the case. Yeah, but it was a good cycle getting here. It was only like a mile or so. It was really easy. It's just basically just almost around the harbour. It's about just under a mile. So I had to sat nav, so it took me right to the very door. So yeah, so off tomorrow. So I've got all day tomorrow. So the ferry back to Jersey's not until tomorrow evening. So I've got all day. So I'm gonna get packed up quite early, get some breakfast, then get on the road and cycle up to Cancale. A bit of lunch in Cancale might be nice, and just see where the road takes me before heading back to Malo on the ferry. So I'll see what sort of night's sleep I get, obviously. I think it'll be fairly quiet. I don't think it's a noisy campsite. Seems to be a lot of older people, you know, retired couples and so on, motorhomes, and I don't think it's going to be any kind of partying or anything like that. It doesn't strike me as a sort of campsite where we've got big groups of young people or anything. So hopefully get a good night's sleep and then get cracking early in the morning. There's a food truck. I found the food truck that I mentioned earlier on the site, selling burgers and chips and things. So I've just been along there to get myself some dinner, which I'm going to enjoy now with a nice glass of Vino. Cheers. So yeah, I've got a nice burger and chips. So I've just finished my dinner. That was really, really nice. Enjoyed that. Just a bizarre moment. This French, I'd say young lady, must be early 20s maybe, sort of appeared out of the woods and started asking me if I'd paid to be here or whether it was free. And I couldn't really understand what she was going on about. I noticed she had a large joint in her hand, so she looked like she was stoned out of her mind. But just a bit bizarre. She's just standing there with this huge bifter in her hand. Yeah, asking me if it was free to camp here or do you have to pay. So I was like, well, yeah, you have to pay, sorry. Yeah, that's just a bit of a bizarre moment. But yeah, I'm just chilling out now for the evening. It's 20 to 8, so yeah, just having a glass of wine, just enjoying the evening. It's quite peaceful here, just listening to the birds and so on. It's yeah, it's nice. So yeah, just having a little wander around the back of the fort from the outside. It's quite you can see there, like that's just been blown up. You can see the steel from the reinforced concrete. You can see where a shell or something like went through that. And then round here, I was just wandering through these woods a little bit, and that crater, that can only be like an explosion. Just imagine what it would have been like here as they were liberating some Malo. It would be absolutely terrifying. Good morning. It is Sunday. It's about 20 past 8. Slept pretty well, not too bad. But windy in the night, that woke me a couple of times. But and then at about 5 a.m. this morning, the birds started, and that was just like, it seemed like they were taking it in turns. You had the gulls to begin with, making a right noise, and then there's a couple of crows must have been quite near the tent, trying to outdo each other as to who could make the most noise. And then all the other birds started up, so I was kind of awake really since then. But yeah, it's a little bit breezy this morning. I'm thinking about the cycle and thinking one of us going to be into a headwind, but we'll have to see how we go. And yeah, it's a bit overcast, so I'm hoping the rain holds off, but I've got waterproofs if necessary. Just been down to, there's a little little sort of bread place down the road on the site, a little caravan that sells all sorts of things. So I've just been and got myself a croissant, as the French do, obviously, and a baguette for later, and some orange juice. So I've had some coffee brewed up on my stove, so yeah, all good. So I've left the campsite, I've headed over to the walls of some Malo, and I'm on my way to Cancale. It's the sun's trying to break through. It's a bit overcast, a little bit chilly, but otherwise not too bad.
Sat-nav had routed me onto Velo 4, which is one of the vast cycle networks that run across Europe. EV4 runs, I think, from Roscoff all along the north coast of France, right up into Belgium and beyond. So they're deliberately routed on sort of cycle paths, very quiet roads, keeps you away from all the traffic. So this one, even though it wasn't the most direct route to Cancale, it was along very, very quiet country lanes, which is really enjoyable cycling. A bit up and down, the uphills were a little bit difficult with the weight of the bike, but yeah, it wasn't too bad at all.
So there's a little market here today in Cancale, which is behind the church. Quite a bustling, busy place on a Sunday morning. Toying with the idea of going down to the port, but I know it's down a steep hill, and the problem is, with a fully loaded touring bike, it's heavy, and I don't really fancy pushing it back up the hill. And it's getting quite warm now as well. Seen a load of cyclists going down the hill towards the port, but they're on e-bikes, so that'll make it really easy for them to come back up. It's quite a decent sized market actually. It's mostly clothes and bags and hats and stuff, but it's pretty busy, which is good to see. And there's the church at the top of town. Yeah, it's really nice, and the sun's coming out now as well, so the weather's cleared up. It looked like it was going to rain when I left the campsite this morning, but no, it's pretty good. I've seen this a few times in towns and villages I've passed where the name of the town is upside down. I believe it's to do with farmers protesting. There's been loads of unrest recently in a lot of European countries to do with farming subsidies and stuff, I think. So what they've been doing in France is coming out, I suppose, late at night with some tools and turning the signs around. It's really quiet here. It's just a D road. There's a bit of traffic on it, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's nice now. The sun's come out and the temperature's come up. I'm heading back to Malo. I want to get some lunch, I think.
I got back to St Malo, no problems at all, and was greeted by something I knew was there, but I'd never actually seen before. You can see the whole road moving there. It's basically a bridge that opens between the sort of outer harbour and the inner harbour. It's like a big lock to let boats through and stuff. I've driven over it loads of times, I've cycled over it, but I've never actually seen it in operation. But as it was like a Sunday afternoon, the weather was good, it was obviously quite busy on the boating front, and yeah, it was quite an impressive piece of technology, engineering, to see the road moving and allow the boats through.
That's a novel idea. I've not seen this before. This is moored up in the marina at Malo. It's like basically a boutique bar and restaurant, I guess. How cool is that? So I'm more or less at the end of the trip. I am outside the walls of St Malo. It's a lovely day. Well, it's cloudy, but the sun's getting through and it's very warm. There's loads of people around. I was going to try and get something to eat, go for lunch somewhere, but there's nowhere I can leave the bike because it's fully loaded. The bike's got all the gear on it and there's things in the panniers that I wouldn't want to lose. So I had some bread from the campsite this morning, so I've just made do with a little bit of a picnic lunch. So yeah, it's been good. Lessons learned. I think I may be carrying too much. Coming back from Cancale today was a bit of a struggle, especially on the uphills. So I wonder if I'm carrying too much weight, but I don't know what I can thin out, but I'll have to have a look. But no, apart from that, it's been really good. So the bike's heavy, but it takes some getting used to. But enjoyed it. It's nice just sitting here, people watching, and I'll cycle over to the ferry terminal shortly and start making my way back to Jersey. So yeah, definitely do this again.